Thank you. Please exit to your right. That ends our photo opportunity. And that concludes our program. Thank you everyone for joining us in this momentous occasion, and thank you, Mr. President, for gracing us with your presence. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency
as Commanding General of the Philippine Army effective 31 July 2025, and I sign happily and fulfilling. Sir, may I present to you my after?
The outgoing Commanding General Philippine Army will order the Command Sergeant Major, Chief Master Sergeant Marvin M. Hurane to lower his personal flag.
Chief Master Sergeant Hurane, lower my personal flag.
Sir, yes, sir.
The lowering of the personal flag of the outgoing commander marks more than just the end of a command. It signifies the closure of a brilliant and colorful military career. It is a solemn moment that honors years of dedicated service, unwavering commitment, and exemplary leadership. As the flag is lowered, it carries with it the legacy of a leader who has served with honor, integrity, and pride in the profession of arms. The encased personal flag of the outgoing Commanding General Philippine Army will be presented by the Command Sergeant Major.
Lieutenant General Antonio Nafarrete, I am now ready to be released.
The incoming Commanding General Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Antonio G. Nafarrete, will read and sign the order for his assumption of command.
Headquarters, Philippine Army, Office of the Commanding General, Fort Andres Bonifacio, Metro Manila. Office Orders Number 02, dated 31 July 2025. Assumption of command. Pursuant to Section 2, General Orders Number 1385, General Headquarters, Armed Forces of the Philippines, dated 30 July 2025. I hereby assume the position as Commanding General, Philippine Army, effective 31 July 2025, and I sign. General Galido, I'm now ready to release you.
We shall witness the handover of the command symbol to be presided by the Commander-in-Chief. While being handed over is a saber, a timeless symbol of responsibility, authority, and the honor of command, deeply rooted in military tradition. The saber embodies the weight of leadership and the readiness to defend and serve with valor. The handover of this command symbol reflects the dynamism and continuity within the military organization. Thank you very much. Congratulations to both the 66th and 67th Commanding Generals of the Philippine Army. Thank you to His Excellency. The new Commanding General, Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Antonio G. Nafarrete, will order the Command Sergeant Major to raise his personal flag, after which he delivers his inaugural speech.
Command Sergeant Major, raise my personal flag.
Sir, yes, sir.
The raising of the personal flag of the newly designated Army Chief is a powerful symbol of authority and leadership. It signifies that the new commander has officially assumed the responsibilities of the position. Someone is now seated, in charge, and ready to lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Allow me to acknowledge His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines, sir. The honorable members of the Cabinet, our Medal of Valor awardees, General Romeo S. Bronner Jr., our Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido, my mista, the 66th Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Admiral Ronnie Toto Galban, Commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard, Police General Toto pa rin Nicolas Torre III, Chief of the Philippine National Police, former CGPAs of the Philippine Army, foreign defense attaches, my family who is present today, my mother and my brother and the rest. I am deeply honored to have been allowed to lead the Philippine Army. As I take on the helm, I would like to congratulate my Mr. Roy for a job well done. Thank you, Bok. To the brave men and women of the Philippine Army, I stand before you humbled, honored, and fully committed as your new commander. I thank God, the Almighty, for this opportunity. My sincere gratitude also to our Commander-in-Chief, Sir, the Secretary of National Defense, and the Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, for their confidence and trust. As we move forward together, I want to set the tone of our direction with one clear belief. Our true strength does not only lie in the weapons we wield, the equipment we acquire, nor the technologies we adopt. It lies in you, our personnel. The heart of our organization is not forged in steel, but flesh and blood. The soldier who serves, sacrifices, and stands steadfast in every mission. With that, under my command, our focus will be centered on human capital development, a mission within our mission, to invest not just in what we fight, but in who fights. Our human capital development will revolve around 5 pillars. On personnel, nurturing our greatest asset. Every soldier matters. We will ensure that career paths are clear, skills are recognized, and opportunities for growth are accessible to all, from the newest private to the most seasoned NCO. We will foster an environment where every individual feels valued, respected, and empowered. On morale, strength in spirit. A high moral army is a resilient army. We will encourage cohesion, esprit de corps, and celebrate our victories, big or small. Commanders and leaders at all levels will be held responsible not just for performance, but for how they uplift and care for their troops. We will recognize service, reward excellence, and build a culture of respect and pride. On health, strong body, ready mind. A fighting force is only as effective as it is healthy. Physical and mental well-being will be a priority. Regular medical checkups, access to health services, and mental health support will be strengthened. Soldiers will be encouraged to take care of themselves and each other. We fight as one, and we heal as one. Education empowered by knowledge. Modern warfare is fought not only on the battlefield, but in the mind. From traditional tactics to cyber defense, education will be key to preparing for both present and future threats. We will support formal education, technical training, digital literacy, and military schooling, because a well-informed soldier is a powerful asset. And the fifth, finances, stability of the battlefield. Economic stress at home affects performance in the field. We will promote financial literacy programs, support systems for dependents, and ensure timely access to pay, benefits, and savings schemes. A soldier who is financially secure is more focused, more determined, and more loyal to the cause. In support of the Army's mission, let me be clear. Our commitment to human capital development is not apart from the Army's mission, but a vital part of it. As we face the challenges of modern warfare, cyber threats, electronic warfare, economic sabotage, and geopolitical tensions, our response cannot only be the procurement of new systems or advanced weaponry. The most important defense we can build is the resilience, intelligence, and strength of our personnel. We are entering an era where wars are not only fought with bullets, but also with bites, where borders are tested not just by battalions, but by bandwidths, where battles can be won or lost through morale, awareness, and unity. This is why we must prepare not just externally, but internally. Let us be an army that leads not only by strategy, but by example. One that shows that readiness is not just having the right tools, but having educated, healthy, motivated, and supported soldiers behind every rifle and every console. To each and every soldier, remember this: you are not just part of the force, you are the force. You are not just defending the nation, you are the nation. Our strength is our personnel, and as your commander, I pledge to build a command that puts you, your growth, your welfare, your future at the center of everything we do. Together, we will stand strong. Together, we will adapt and overcome. Together, we will fulfill our mission because we are not just ready for battle, we are ready for the future. Mabuhay ang sandatang lakas, mabuhay ang ating mga kawal. Thank you, and may we all serve with courage, commitment, and compassion.
Thank you to the 67th Commanding General, Philippine Army. From here, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on with the retirement ceremony of Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido. May we now request Lieutenant General Galido, sir, to stand and step forward as the Adjutant General, Armed Forces of the Philippines, reads the retirement order.
Republic of the Philippines, Department of National Defense, General Headquarters, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City. General Orders Number 1181, published on 07 July 2025. Compulsory retirement. Pursuant to the provisions of Section 2A1 of Republic Act Number 11939, dated 17 May 2023, Section 17 of Presidential Decree Number 1638, as amended and in consonance with Presidential Administrative Order Number 150, dated 04 January 1990. Lieutenant General Roy Mabagos Galido, Officer -10285, Philippine Army, having completed 39 years and 4 months of active military service in the Armed Forces of the Philippines from 01 April 1986 to 30 July 2025 is compulsorily retired in the rank of Lieutenant General effective 31 July 2025 with retirement pay based on the salary grade of General with 5th longevity pay. By order of the Secretary of National Defense, Official Romeo Saturnino Bronner Jr., General, Philippine Army, Chief of Staff. Signed, Ramilo B. Trinidad, Captain, Philippine Navy General Staff Corps, Acting the Adjutant General.
Please remain in front, sir. We'd like to request the spouse, Mrs. Rina Micaela Galido, ma'am, to join your husband on stage. His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is requested for the presentation of plaques and mementos. The President will be assisted by Defense Secretary Gilberto C. Teodoro Jr. and the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Romus Bronner Jr. Command Plaque. Command Plaque is presented to Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido, Officer -10285, Philippine Army, in grateful acknowledgement of his eminently meritorious and invaluable service rendered as Commanding General, Philippine Army from 31 July 2023 to 30 July 2025. Command Plaque. Command Plaque is presented to Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido, Officer -10285, Philippine Army, in grateful recognition of his outstanding and meritorious service rendered to the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine Army, as well as for his selfless and faithful service to our country and people from 18 February 1990 to 30 July 2025. Plaque of Honorable Service. Plaque of Honorable Service is presented to Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido, Officer -10285, Philippine Army, in recognition of his 39 years and 4 months of faithful and honorable service to the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Gallery of Awards. Gallery of Awards is presented to Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido. This is a representation of all the awards bestowed on him during his active tour of duty. Plaque ng Pagpupugay sa Kawal Pilipino. Plaque ng Pagpupugay sa Kawal Pilipino, iginagawad kay Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido, pagpaparangal at pagkilala sa natatanging pagganap ng mga tungkulin bilang isang leader at kawal Pilipino ng ating sandatahang lakas. This time, Mrs. Galido will be presented with the Plaque of Appreciation. Plaque of Appreciation is presented to Mrs. Rina Micaela Galido for her unselfish, faithful, and devoted support to her husband's lasting contribution and dedicated service to the Armed Forces of the Philippines and to our nation. As we now witness the presentation of the Philippine flag, everyone is requested to stand. The Philippine flag, a powerful symbol of the aspirations, struggles, and enduring spirit of the Filipino people, the embodiment of our love for country, unity, and deep sense of patriotism. For the brave men and women in the noble profession of arms, the flag holds a deeper meaning. It is a solemn reminder of their sacred duty to protect our freedom and uphold our sovereignty, even if it means making the ultimate sacrifice. The Philippine flag is presented to Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido. Well, congratulations to Lieutenant General and Mrs. Galido. Thank you to His Excellency, to the Defense Secretary, and the Chief of Staff. Once again, a big hand for Lieutenant General and Mrs. Galido. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome the 66th Commanding General, Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Roy Mabagos Galido, as he delivers his valedictory address.
To God be all the glory and my profound gratitude to the Almighty for this blessing opportunity for all of you to be here, present, to be witness to a very important milestone in my life. May I acknowledge our presiding officer, the President of the Republic of the Philippines and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., the newly installed Commanding General, Philippine Army, my very good Mista, Lieutenant General Antonio Toto Nafarrete. May I acknowledge the Secretary of National Defense, Honorable Secretary Gilberto C. Teodoro Jr., my predecessor, the 65th Commanding General of the Philippine Army, and the current Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Romeo S. Browner Jr. May I also acknowledge the Special Assistant to the President, Honorable Antonio Ernesto Lagdameo Jr., the Secretary of the Presidential Advisor on Peace and Reconciliation and Unity, Secretary Carlito Galvez, Secretary Andres Centino, Secretary Eduardo Año, and my partners in the other uniformed service, Police General Nicolas the Champion Torre, the Chief of Philippine National Police, and Coast Guard Admiral Ronnie Hill Galvan, the Commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard. And more importantly, may I recognize my wife, Rina, and my sons, Red and Ronin, and my family from the Sese clan, Jose clan, Mabagos, and my special guests who traveled afar. May I recognize the major service commanders present, senior Army generals present, the Medal of Valor awardees, the former commanding generals of the Philippine Army, the stakeholders present, my Mista from the Philippine Military Academy 1990, the members of the Foreign Attaché Corps present, all the officers and units online, the officers and men of Headquarters Philippine Army, led by the Vice Commander of the Philippine Army, the last retirement event I attended lasted 1 hour of speech. Thus, I made it a point that this will be shorter by coming up with a video presentation of what Army has become after 2 years. So, sir, please watch on your screen my report to you and our country.
And let me now welcome and congratulate our 66th Philippine Army Commanding General, Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido.
The moment Lieutenant General Galido took command, he bore not just the weight of leadership, but a greater mission, one that would test his resolve and shape the Army's future.
I urge everyone to strive towards building an army that is agile, adaptable, and competitive, works well together with its partners and stakeholders, and especially our citizens. I look forward to your plans to protect the shared identity that our past and present generations have built, and to transform the Army into a world-class force that is the source of our country's security and peace and pride.
Thank you, sir. I will not fail you.
The mission was clear. Build a Philippine Army that is agile, resilient, and worthy of the people's trust. Works hand in hand with citizens, the government, and allies. And keep the Army ready, not just for today's challenges, but for whatever lies ahead. Without wasting time and energy, we rolled up our sleeves and got to work. We enhanced our recruitment processes and revitalized our training system to ensure that only the most capable join our ranks and receive standardized, high-quality training. Leadership development remains a core priority, with mentorship programs that build both competence and character. To ensure peak performance across the force, we strengthened our healthcare systems, institutionalized regular medical checkups, promoted physical fitness, and embraced a holistic approach to health, because operational readiness begins with individual well-being. We improved our facilities to better support the personal and professional needs of our troops, so they can worry less about daily concerns and focus more on their mission. In response to shifting global power dynamics and rising threats to regional stability, we adopted our force, guided by the whole of government and whole of nation approach of the national government. We laid down the groundwork for long-term security, plans that will protect our territory, shape our mindset and our future. We reorganized our units to make them lighter, faster, and more strategically positioned to defend the nation's interests. We set up new units like the Combat Engineer Regiment, the Tank Battalion, and the CBRNE Company to ensure the protection of key strategic locations, fortify our bases, secure mobility corridors, and strengthen our firepower. We reactivated the Special Operations Command, so our elite operators remain mission-focused and operate in full synergy with other special operations units across the armed forces of the Philippines. As we transition to an external defense posture, we recognize that future conflicts would span across all domains, both seen and unseen. In response, we invested heavily in building up our operational capabilities. We pursued access to various air defense systems, enabling our ground forces to provide vital support to our courageous Air Force pilots guarding our skies. We acquired shore-based missile systems to effectively support the maritime operations of our brave sailors and Marines. These developments strengthen both joint force integration and maritime law enforcement, reaffirming the Army's commitment to stand with the Coast Guard, especially where land meets sea. We enhanced our intelligence capabilities and modernized our tools to expand our awareness, enabling us to monitor potential flashpoints with greater speed, clarity, and precision. As our systems evolved, so did the threats. That's why we made cybersecurity a priority, our first line of defense in a digital battle space that's now just as contested and just as critical as any physical front. We trained hard. Through Exercise Katihan, we proved our ability to move and sustain large forces. It was a bold step in advancing our land defense concept and supporting the AFP's vision for comprehensive archipelagic defense. To strengthen our soldiers' capabilities, we immersed them in a wide range of local and international trainings, building confidence, sharpening skills, and gaining knowledge alongside some of the best troops from our allied nations. As we build capabilities, we also build trust. evident in the growing number of Filipinos expressing their willingness to stand with the Philippine Army in defending the nation and safeguarding our sovereignty against foreign aggression. Our reserve force grew stronger with 36,000 ready reservists, over 1 million more standing by, and a growing number of private organizations applying to join the Philippine Army affiliated reserve units, prepared to respond in times of disaster and in defense of the homeland. We reinforced Filipino resilience by investing in our ability to dominate the information environment, exposing falsehoods and countering adversarial influence through strategic communication. We spoke the truth. Everyone now understands the realities of the West Philippine Sea, because no one should be able to twist our story or weaken our stand. As we strengthen our readiness for external defense, our resolve in securing the homeland has never faltered. Through relentless operations and enduring commitment, we have broken the strongholds and diminished the relevance of communist terrorist groups.
At sa wakas, wala na ring nalalabing grupong gerilya sa bansa. Titiyakin ng pamahalaan na wala na mabubuong muli.
Side by side with our partner agencies, the Philippine Army remains committed to building a peaceful, secure, and united Philippines. Even as we pursue modernization and strengthen our presence on the regional and global stage, we acknowledge a simple truth. We cannot rival the great powers in sheer numbers, but readiness is our equalizer. And if conflict comes, we will not be caught unprepared. This is why the land defense concept became our foundation. Concrete, uncompromising plans to defend the nation's heart, shield our people, and uphold their sovereignty without question. The Army we built together is now stronger, smarter, and more prepared than ever. And as the mission moves forward, it will be carried out with sharper skill, deeper resolve, and unwavering faith.
As I mentioned during my Assumption speech 2 years ago, I committed to our Commander-in-Chief I will deliver a better Army after his fourth State of the Nation address. As I don off my military uniform, I take this moment to honor and recognize the 69 killed in action soldiers during my watch as the Commanding General of the Philippine Army. Let us pause for a few moments of silence and pray for their souls. Their sacrifice will not be in vain. My profound gratitude to all my senior officers. Most of them, I believe all of them, are retired except for General Browner, whom I work with. Even junior officers and enlisted personnel, whom I work with as I grew in the profession of arms. What I've achieved in my career, I attribute to all of them, the good and not so good, which made me a better person. To my field commanders, majority of which whom I've installed, thank you for carrying out my instructions of to use your rank, to use your privilege, to serve our soldier and our organization by creating an environment that makes a soldier and the unit better each day. Thank you for eliminating practices detriment to this new healthy environment that strengthens professionalism and equality in our service. To the senior NCOs, led by Chief Master Sergeant Haurine, thank you for maintaining and sustaining the standard of the Army. you now feel the true essence of NCO empowerment. Sustain it, make it more progressive. To our stakeholders, thank you for helping and building a better Army. To the Secretary of National Defense, to the Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, thank you for your guidance, support to my plans, and challenges in my leadership. These created a good foundation for the Philippine Army to be mission agnostic and ready to perform in all domains of the new warfare. And to our Commander-in-Chief, the President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., maraming salamat po sa inyong panalig at suporta sa aking liderato at sa hanay ng hukbong katiyan. Your vision was clear. Your support system was very strong to build a modern and more united armed forces, inspired us to push ourselves harder and serve better. We made sure to uplift the lives of our troops and strengthen the foundation as a professional, disciplined, and people-oriented army ng bagong Pilipinas. It has been an honor to serve under your administration, and I am always inspired by the song Panahon Na ng Pagbabago at the weekly panata sa bagong Pilipinas that we do every day. To my beloved family, to my wife, Rina, and my son, Renato and Ronin, thank you for being the quiet strength behind every step of the journey. Your love, patience, and prayers have been my anchor. My meaningful and noble service would not have been possible without your support, especially knowing your limits and knowing your position. Thank you for your sacrifice and patience. We will now start ticking the bucket list. In closing, I just had two aspirations in the service, and this developed when I finished my first commandership 15 years ago in North Cotabato, that I will retire healthy, and I will retire that my family will be proud of me. For they have sacrificed so much for me to serve our country and people. This is Lieutenant General Roy Galido, the 66th Commanding General of the Philippine Army. Now, Mr. Roy Galido, taxpayer, law-abiding citizen, golfer, and a lover to my one and only wife, Rina. Mabuhay po ang sandatahang lakas ng Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang hukbong katiyan ng Pilipinas. That in all things, God may be glorified.
Thank you very much to the 66th Commanding General, Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Roy Mabagos Galido. At this point, the presiding officer will be introduced by Secretary Gilberto C. Chidoro, Jr., Department of National Defense.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander of our Armed Forces, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos, Jr.
Thank you for your introduction, the Defense Secretary, Secretary Gilbert Tudoro. Please take your seats. The members of the Cabinet here present today, the Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff, General Romeo Browner, and the major service commanders, the Philippine National Police General, Nick Torre, Philippine Coast Guard Admiral Ronnie Hill Gavan, our outgoing Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Roy Galido, the newly installed Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Antonio Nafarrete, our Medal of Valor awardees, Foreign Armed Forces attaches, officers and civilian employees of the Philippine Army, my fellow workers in government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We mark a moment of transition in the continuing story of the Philippine Army. Today, we honor the service and dedication of Lieutenant General Roy M. Galido. He steps down as the 66th Commanding General of the Philippine Army, capping a military career that has spanned more than 3 decades. He is a proud son of the PMA, Bigkislahi Lakas class of 1990, a former Army Inspector General, and a commander of the Western Mindanao Command. Beyond the titles and respect that he has earned over the years, Lieutenant General Galido has defined his leadership through dedication and discipline. Under his watch, the Philippine Army has made great strides on and off the battlefield. You have pursued peace through civil-military operations that led to the surrender of armed fighters. Sa gitna ng labanan, armas ang inyong tangan upang ipagtanggol ang ating bayan. Ngunit, batid kong mas malakas ang inyong pagnanais sa paghihinahong pag-uusap at pagkakasundo. No Filipino desires peace more than the soldier who has to lay down his life, his or her life, for his duty. Under Lieutenant General Galido, the institution grew stronger. Our uniformed men and women were given new tools, better equipment, enabling them to move faster, respond better, serve more effectively. You have strengthened our bonds with our allies to improve how we share intelligence, how we conduct joint operations. Our reserve force has also stepped up in times of disasters, bringing relief and hope to affected communities. You forged partnerships with other government agencies and sectors, expanding camps, developing bases, and turning Army lands into self-sustaining spaces. Lieutenant General Galido, mula sa puso ng sambayan ng Pilipino, maraming salamat. Sa panahong puno ng hamon sa ating seguridad, ipinagtanggol mo ang ating bansa at nagbigay ka ng inspirasyon sa aming lahat. So as we salute your command and welcome your successor, we remember that this ceremony, more than a change of command, is also a reaffirmation of the Philippines Army strength and endurance. Because while no leader serves forever, the values that you impart in your time, in your leadership, will continue to live on in this institution. The Army has been enriched by your service and will grow stronger under the leadership of its next Commanding General. And I now welcome 67th Philippine Army Commanding General Lieutenant General Antonio G. Nafarrete. You will be assuming your role at a time when geopolitical tensions and global uncertainty are high. This will demand your vigilance and leadership to deliver clear direction and to show a firm commitment. But I have full confidence that under your command, the Philippine Army will remain steadfast, a pillar of strength and integrity, professionalism. Kaya't sa araw na ito, bilang inyong Commander-in-Chief, pinapangako ko na papagpatuloy natin at patitibayin pa natin ang ating sandatahang lakas. We owe you nothing less than our full support. Naway magsilbi itong inspirasyon upang mas magampanan ng Philippine Army ang kanyang tungkulin. Ang magsilbi sa bayan ng may tibay ng loob, may panindigan, at katapatan. Maraming salamat sa inyong walang sawang dedikasyon na magbantay sa ating inang bayan. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng ating mga sundalo. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng Armed Forces of the Philippines. Mabuhay ang hukbong katihan ng Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga sa inyo lahat.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. The memento will be presented to the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. And may we request the new Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Nafarrete, sir, for the presentation of the memento. Thank you, sirs. Please remain standing. As we wind up today's event, we'll now have the singing of the Awit Kawal.
Ay kawal ng ating bayan, giting ay tinataglay. Sa oras na ako'y tinailangan, nakahandang ihadlang ang buhay. Tapak namin ay napatunayan sa gubat at larangan. Mindanao at Visayas man, sa Bataan, Korea at Naluso, kalasag ng matatag na republika. Ulot, pawis, ay di alintana, sa kasamay laking tiwala. Pag ng kawal ay lakas ng bansa, kaya palaging maghanda. Sa katunggali makikibaka, pagkat mahal namin ang bandila. Lubog na lumuso, kalasag ng matatag na republika. Ulot, pawis ay di alintana, sa kasamay lang tiwala. Tatag ng kawal ay lakas ng bansa, kaya palaging maghanda. Sa katunggali makikibaka, pagkat mahal namin ang bandila.
May we now request the President to kindly grant us a photo opportunity downstage. Okay, I would like to request everyone to move towards the center for the photo opportunity with the President. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., sir. Sa punto pong ito, nagtatapos ang ating seremonya sa pagpapalit ng
His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. We may now be seated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the launch and turnover of the World Bank Philippines Country Partnership Framework for 2025 to 2031. To start our program, may we call on World Bank's Division Director, Xavier Mustafaulo, to deliver his opening message and overview of the Country Partnership Framework with audio-visual presentation.
Your Excellency, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of the World Bank Group, I extend our deepest gratitude for the opportunity to launch our new country partnership framework here in Malacañang. This marks a new chapter in our enduring partnership, one that began 8 years ago when Philippines became the founding member of the World Bank. Today, after 8 decades of resilience, growth, and transformation, the Philippines stands among the strongest performers in East Asia and the Pacific. The country is poised to achieve upper middle income status very soon. We at the World Bank Group are proud to have been part of this journey. Together, we have achieved impactful progress over the years. Today, we unveil the new country partnership framework for 2025-2031. This framework aligns closely with the Philippine Development Plan, and it aims to support your administration's bold reform agenda. The CPF responds to both emerging opportunities and persistent challenges. Despite progress, child stunting and students learning poverty remain high. Many Filipinos work in informal jobs, and natural disasters push about 1 million people into poverty each year. Climate change adds to these challenges. The recent widespread flooding in the Philippines is one example in this regard. There is, however, reason for optimism. The Philippines has one of the youngest, most dynamic populations in the world. Today, Philippines is the second fastest growing economy in the region. Digital economy is expanding. Green infrastructure and climate-smart investments can be powerful engines of jobs and competitiveness. This One World Bank Group CPF will focus on 3 transformative outcome areas. First, empowering people through better health and education. We will invest in universal health care, child nutrition, and primary care, helping 19 million more people access quality health services. We will support curriculum reform, teacher training, and digital platforms, reaching 15 million students with improved education. Second, generating more and better jobs. We will support policy and regulatory reforms to boost competitiveness, modernize agriculture, and expand digital infrastructure, bringing broadband access to 19 million more people. Through IFC investment and MEGA guarantees, we aim to make the Philippines a stronger destination for investors, crowding in $2 billion in private capital. Our goal is to help generate 4 million more and better jobs. Third, building resilience to climate and shocks. We will support a modernized 4Ps program and expand adaptive social protection to cover 12.5 million beneficiaries. We will help 13 million people become more resilient to climate and disaster risks through better infrastructure, climate-smart agriculture, and improved disaster risk financing. Finally, a central pillar of our strategy is also to strengthen public sector efficiency. Our goal is to help 20 million more people access improved digital government services. Importantly, our role goes beyond financing. We will strive to be your partner of first call for high-quality, timely, and relevant analytics and policy advice, drawing on the World Bank's deep global knowledge and expertise. And ultimately, this CPF is not just a plan. It's a joint commitment to ensure lasting change for Filipinos so that all benefit from a stronger, more inclusive, and resilient economy. As I conclude, I would like to extend my deep gratitude to our counterparts, Secretary Rector, Secretary Balsekan, Secretary Pangandaman, with whom we had excellent partnership. I would also like to recognize the great collaboration with all distinguished secretaries here today and express my sincere thanks to Secretary Erbosa, Secretary Tio Laurel, Secretary Dizon. And I would like to thank Executive Secretary Bersamin for his excellent leadership, guidance, and support. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, as the Philippines moves forward with confidence, optimism, the World Bank Group remains fully committed to support a more prosperous, inclusive, and resilient nation. Maraming salamat at mabuhay tayong lahat. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Xavier Mustafaulo. At this point, may we request Mr. Mustafaulo to hand over the World Bank Philippines Country Partnership. Sorry, we have to play our audio-visual presentation.
The Philippines is rising. After 15 years of strong, job-rich growth, poverty has fallen, and opportunity is rising. It is a fast-growing economy with a vibrant private sector and a new generation ready to lead. With a young and dynamic population and a resilient economy, the country is closer than ever to achieving its long-term vision. Ambisyon Natin 2040, a middle-class society where no one is left behind. The World Bank Group's Country Partnership Framework lays out its priorities for supporting the Philippines' development goals from 2025 to 2031 to boost prosperity, expand opportunity, and strengthen resilience. The focus is on three key outcomes. First, improved access to quality health and education. Despite economic gains, too many children are still stunted, and learning poverty remains high. The World Bank targets to support 19 million people for access to better health and nutrition services, and 15 million students to receive quality education. More private sector jobs. Filipinos need more and better jobs. The World Bank Group is helping to unlock investment, modernize agriculture, and build digital infrastructure, aiming to create 4 million new or improved jobs and bring broadband to 19 million more people. In addition, through support to the private sector by the IFC, we target to mobilize $2 billion in private capital to grow businesses and power innovation. Third, stronger socioeconomic resilience. Each year, disasters push 1 million Filipinos into poverty. We're helping build a stronger safety net, aiming to reach an additional 12.5 million people with social protection programs and 13 million with better resilience to climate and disaster risks. We support resilient infrastructure, climate-smart agriculture, and local governments designing solutions to reduce vulnerability. To turn plans into results, efficient and responsive public institutions are key. We'll help improve digital services for 20 million people, support tax reforms, and strengthen local government capacity to deliver better services across the country. This country partnership framework brings together the full strength of the World Bank Group, IBRD, IFC, and MIGA to deliver public and private solutions. We're working hand in hand with the Philippine government, civil society, development partners, and the private sector to unlock the country's full potential. Together, we will build a more inclusive, resilient, and prosperous Philippines. Partnership that delivers, progress that lasts.
At this point, may we request Mr. Mustafaulo to hand over the World Bank Philippines Country Partnership Framework for 2025 to 2031 to His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to be witnessed by Secretary Arsenio Balisacan and Ms. Dandan Chen, World Bank Operations Manager. Thank you, Mr. President. To introduce our guests of honor, may we now request Executive Secretary Lucas.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Thank you very much to our Executive Secretary, Secretary Luke Bersamin. Please be seated. Finance Secretary Ralph Recto, the other members of the Cabinet who are here with us, Department of Economy Planning and the other DepDev officials. World Bank Division Director for International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, Mr. Saber Mustafa Olu. World Bank Operations Manager for International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, Ms. Dandan Chen, and the other World Bank officials. My fellow workers in government, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a good day to you all. The Philippines has accomplished much over these past 2 decades. Our economy has grown steadily. Investments continue to increase, creating quality jobs for our people. And because of that, unemployment has come down. However, we are well cognizant of the fact that much more needs to be done to ensure that the progress is truly felt by every Filipino, wherever they may be. This is why we are looking forward to the launch of the World Bank Group's Country Partnership Framework, or CPF, for the Philippines for 2025 to 2031. The CPF lays out a clear and strategic path for our next 6 years. It echoes the commitments that I shared yesterday during the State of the Nation address: better access to healthcare, stronger support for our students, more jobs and livelihood opportunities for our people. To sustain our gains, we are also prioritizing disaster preparedness throughout the construction of more evacuation centers, more modern early warning systems, and faster, more coordinated response efforts. In parallel, the CPF has 3 outcome areas that support the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028. Una, kalusugan at edukasyon, health and education. We are improving the delivery of public health services, especially in underserved areas, including Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Through Phase 1 of the Philippines Health Systems Resilience Project, we are promoting the smarter use of quality health services while building our capacity to prevent, prepare for, and respond to health emergencies. With more equitable health care, we are giving our people not only longer lives, but hope, security, and dignity. We are also focused on addressing students' learning gaps, preparing our youth for the 21st century workforce through better education and stronger support, matching their skills with the market's needs. We ensure that our students will grow into future leaders, innovators, and visionaries. Ikalawa, binubuksan natin ang mas maraming dekalidad na trabaho sa pribadong sektor. We continue to deepen our efforts to simplify business regulations, establish stronger infrastructure, and entice more investments. By raising the every Filipino household's productivity and income, we fuel growth in our key sectors, make our economy more competitive. Ikatlo, pinapalakas natin ang kakayahan ng bansa na harapin ang mga sakuna at epekto ng pagbabago ng klima. We are preparing ourselves for the new normal and the effects of global climate change. We are modernizing our data systems, expanding social protection, delivering faster, more effective responses in times of crisis. We are also redefining resilience to mean learning from our shortcomings and preparing the way ahead of time. It is about planning green and sustainable cities, conserving our environment, and bouncing up and forward. Sa mga layuning ito, isinusulong natin ang mas responsable, tapat, at mas maaasahang pamahalaan. Through digital transformation, we are advancing government systems, e-governance, connectivity, cybersecurity. None of this, however, would have been possible without